Most people think that the list price is some indication of the value of the home. This is the myth I want to dispel. So if we believe that your home is worth, say, $100,000, what I mean is that we're going to get offers for $100,000. We are not going to list your home for $100,000. Welcome to my classroom. I'm Chris Collette, the real estate professor. So it has been almost exactly a year since I started shooting and sharing these videos. So I actually want to go back all the way to the very first classroom video I ever did as the real estate professor. And I want to remind you that even though it's a new year and we've gotten most of the way through a pandemic, that you still should not sell your home for what it's worth. What do I mean? So what your home is worth is going to depend on kind of what context you're referring to. There's usually a few values for your home. Let's talk about the most useless one. That's the assessed value. When people talk about assessed value, we want to just throw it out the window. Assessed value is how the city or town determines how much tax revenue they're going to get from the ownership of your home. Usually, a city or town will say something like, you know what, we need a new middle school. So let's either raise the real estate taxes or let's leave the tax rate the same, and we'll just say that everybody's house is worth 1% more. Your house has not changed. It's the exact same house it was yesterday. You didn't renovate it. You didn't add 1% in value. Nothing happened in the city or town. They just said your house was worth more so that they could make more tax revenue. So assessed value is always way behind in terms of time and is fairly arbitrary relative to the upgrades that you make to your house. So we're going to ignore assessed value altogether, which really leaves two other values: list price and market value. Most people think that the list price is some indication of the value of the home. This is the myth I want to dispel. So if we believe that your home is worth, say, $100,000, what I mean is that we're going to get offers for $100,000. We are not going to list your home for $100,000. What happens is, last year, 93% of buyers used an agent to buy houses, which means that their buyer agents did research and they figured out what a house was worth. So if it goes on the market for $100,000 and the buyer thinks it's worth $100,000, they're going to show up to look at the $100,000 house. If your home is listed at, say, 105 or 110, no one's coming to your open house because all the agents are going to look at it and go, yeah, it's not worth your time. Don't even bother looking at that one. It's way overpriced. Now, what happens if you underprice it? I want you to work through this exercise with me. Let's say everybody knows the house is worth $100,000. You list it for, say, $94,900. All of a sudden, the world looks at it and goes, how come this $100,000 house is only listed for $95,000 or $94,900? Are more people or fewer people going to come to that open house? Take a sec, think about it. More people. More people are going to show up because you're going to get the people who think it's worth 100. You might get the few people who think it's worth 105, and you're going to get all the people who think that it's worth 95. They're all going to show up. What happens is they're going to do their research when they go to write an offer and realize it's probably worth about 100. But when they show up to the open house, it's going to be packed. Imagine the line out the door when everybody goes, did you see that that house that's worth $100,000 is priced for 5% lower than what it's worth? We got to go see it. There's a million people, and then all of a sudden, instead of getting 1 or 2 offers or 5 offers, you get 23 offers. When you have 23 offers on your house, it gives me the power to say to all 23 offers, we know it's worth $100,000, you know it's worth $100,000, but there are 23 offers, so please adjust accordingly. And all of a sudden, all the buyers start to go, oh, 23 offers, you know what? Give them 115 and tell them we won't even do a home inspection. That is like the dream offer because we all just agreed it was worth $100,000. And then when the appraiser comes, some of you were thinking this, I can read your mind through the camera. Some of you are thinking, yeah, but the appraiser's going to come in and say it's worth $100,000. You know what the appraisers tend to ask first? How many offers did you get and how much were they all for? Because the number one way to determine what a home is worth is to figure out what somebody's willing to pay for it. That's really not just true of houses, that's true of anything in the world. It's the entire business model of eBay, right? We'll sell it for what somebody's willing to bid on it. The appraiser comes in and says, you got 23 offers and they were all 110, 115,000. This must be a $115,000 house. And then they will go into the appraisal thinking, I got to go find all the right properties to say are comparable to this one so that I can say it's worth 110, 115. let's say it doesn't even come in at 115. Let's say it comes in at 110, 108, 105. It's still more than the 100,000 you would have gotten if you listed it at 100 and the only people who came thought it was worth 100. That's how you end up with a couple of offers and an okay open house. So if you're thinking about selling your home, please do not list it for what it's worth. Do not sell it for what it's worth. We're going to sell your home for more than what it's worth, and we're going to list it using an event pricing strategy that allows us to blow the open houses and the showings out of the water. I'm not going to show your house until the open house because I want all the buyers to see each other. I'm literally going to knock on all your neighbors' doors, tell them there's an open house this weekend, so that even if there's 50 people at the open house and 40 of them are neighbors, the 10 that are serious about writing an offer are going to think that there's 50 buyers at your open house. This is how we get more money than anybody else. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing somewhere in Mass or New Hampshire, reach out to me and my team. I'm Chris Collette, the real estate professor, and I'll see everybody next week.